Well, hello everyone. Welcome today. So glad you're with us. We're still talking about things that you want to hear about. I am a born-again, spirit-filled Pentecostal preacher, basically, and that's my background. But a few years ago, God told me to start prayer teams that would pray for this country. When we began our prayer team, I had 6,000 people from Florida alone on my mailing list. I was raising thousands of dollars for the nation of Israel. One year, I was told that our ministry had raised over $1 million for the return of the Jews. It was during this time the Lord spoke to me about America. He said, if you will begin to bring in prayer teams and they will cry out to God every week, that their anointing and what happens when their prayers get into the heavenlies, they will push back every form of communism that's trying to take over America. And as long as you can drink the water, eat the fruit of the ground, and breathe the air, my hand has not been removed from this nation. When I began my prayer teams praying for America, I went from 6,000 people on my mailing list, thousands and thousands of dollars a month, daily television from coast to coast in the state of Florida, to 325 people, and I almost lost everything. People didn't want to hear it. Today, it's popular to pray for America, but a lot of people have been praying wrong over the years, and I've been there with my voice. Don't believe that America's Babylon. It's not. God, our prayer teams are there nationwide, crying out to God, and we're asking Him to deliver this nation. But we've elected to the Congress people who are lawless. They are lawless lawmakers. They have ignored our Constitution. It is for the lawmaker, of the lawmaker, and to the lawmaker that we must change, and we must change it this year. Building a bridge to Christians must take place. Call your friends, tell them Faye is on. You have to hear what she's going to say, and then unite with me, and let's take America back. I am Faye Harding, and this is Well, welcome back, everybody. So glad you're with us today. We got an awesome program. You know that by the intro, because we did half the program before we got on the program. Because what I've got on my desk would take a week for me to be able to give it to you in the content that you would understand it. And my goal is to encourage and lead prayer ministry leaders so they'll be more effective with the prayer teams, prayer groups, and churches that they actually oversee. So I'm a leader of leaders for the most part, and it's working. We have some wonderful prayer ministries that's united with us. Every Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, I do a prayer briefing, a weekly briefing call. And that call has intercessors nationwide praying about what happened that week. So if you want to really get to know me, I host that call. People are amazed when I call them back and say, you know, you left your number. And they say, oh, Fee, we never thought you would call. Well, I don't always. But there's times I get notes and I just know that I'm supposed to make that call, and we can't allow anyone to fall through the cracks. We're building prayer warriors. The number that you call is 712-432-0900. It's a free conferencing call. It's on my website if you want to go on. But the only way you get the access code is to contact our ministry directly, because it is a confidential call, and we do deal with current events for that week. We're especially dealing with the way the people that are in our Congress are conning seniors. I've never seen seniors work as hard as they're working now. I go through Walmart and I'll get 4 slices of some kind of meat, turkey. My cats eat the turkey, so I usually get a little bit more turkey because I feed the cats the turkey as well as myself. But usually small cans, a few. I like fresh food, so I don't buy a lot for freezing. But I walk in to the cash register and I've got a few things at the bottom of my barrel. Everything that I can use that week and only what I need. And there'll be a cart in front of me stacked to overflowing. A woman, 3 or 4 kids, most of the time her husband is there in the middle of the week when everybody else is working. And they don't pay a cent. And the lady that's checking them out is in her 70s. I think she makes a little more now. Thank God Walmart gave them a raise. But for the most part, she don't make $10 an hour. And here this crowd goes, the whole family, swoosh, free, illegal, free, undocumented, free. And I'm looking at this senior citizen standing there. And yet, it took the Lord at the end of last year to show me just how bad seniors were being treated. They give subsidies to the illegals, $135 billion last year. They're in California now saying they're not going to fund some of the cities, Oakland and other cities, because they don't want the criminal aliens to be arrested. They want them to be free to kill again, free to rape again. These are liberals that are indoctrinated. And this is the mindset that controls this nation because Christians have chosen to stay out of the mix. You can't be there anymore out of the mix. And what is happening to the seniors is a disgrace. I've got a book that's almost ready. It's called Social Security is Not an Entitlement. And when you see where the members of our Congress and Senate, all of their pictures are in this book, all of their information, every single one of my viewers should get this book. It will tell you who's governing our nation, even President Trump, Vice President Pence, the cabinet. We anoint this book with oil on a regular basis, our prayer teams. We're asking God to remove every person that's committed a crime out of office this year. We know what we're asking God for, and I need you to join our crusade. The information God's shown me about how the seniors are being conned by people we elected to office, the story is not being told, and their cover-up is a disgrace. You have to know where you're going in God. And in order for America to be delivered, we must do it God's way. He is not pleased that 2/3 of our youth don't believe in God, don't believe there is a God, because the people of God have remained silent and in the corner. I'm working on a little flyer now. God loves you, and this is how you can find him. I believe we're going to be able to give out Bibles to college kids, to people who, even in Parkland, Bibles must go forth. Laborers must come into the harvest. Will you join me in this crusade? I want to show you how wicked our lawless lawmakers are. But first, I have to say this so I don't forget, and you will do it. If you make less than $1,000 a month, and you are on Social Security, I want you to write me a note and tell me. Be sure to put your name and address and phone number, and tell me what you do get, and if you have to work a second job and how old you are. We have got to confront Paul Ryan. It is amazing. I just can't believe how disrespectful they are. We don't get any subsidies as seniors. Food stamps, energy, the handouts are unprecedented for illegal aliens. Many of them work for Nancy Pelosi and with cheap labor. They pocket their money, and then they get the subsidies that are tax funded. And seniors don't have that freedom. It's a disgrace. I've had men call my office that got $500 a month crying, saying, we don't know what we're going to do now. They don't get $2,000 a year for credits at the end of the year, tax funded. And we have to change that. The money they've wasted and squandered in our Congress should be fraud and extortion. Except we have an FBI that's literally their disgrace, basically, when it comes to enforcing the laws of our land. When you go to the Department of Justice, you go to Sessions, he should quit. He's a derelict in duty, like nobody I've ever seen in our Justice Department, funds Robert Mueller so he can manufacture a crime against the President of the United States that we elected, that's doing a phenomenal job. And they're getting away. There's no consequences with this crowd. I want to read you something real fast before we have to go off the air. I want you to just see the mismanagement and the information that we're having to contend with. And then I want you to decide about uniting with me, joining me. Number 1, for the weekly prayer. Number 2, if you would go to our 800 number and make a donation and say, Faye, I stand with you as much as God has blessed you to give. But if you are a senior, $500, $600 a month, and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, go to the 800 number and make a small donation and say, Faye, I'm standing with you. And when you do that, ask for our book concerning Social Security. It'll be out in about 4 or 5 weeks. So what you're doing, you're pre-ordering. We'll keep that information, and as soon as they come off the press, you'll get one. It's not going to be that large, but it's going to have the facts in it. Call your friends and say it's time for seniors to take a stand against the lawless, literally lawless lawmakers that we have elected to govern our nation. I just want to share this with you because it's just so disgusting to see how they squandered the trillions of dollars. It said, yesterday, I saw Hillary on the Senate floor speaking against the high salaries of company CEOs. These people, including Nancy Pelosi, all of the Democrats, 100%, and the rhinos, the Republicans in name only. They're really Democrats, and they know it. They just don't want you to know it, but we're learning. And they act like that we work for them. And our companies that come out making large profits, they don't see the struggle to start the company. They don't see the sacrifice to keep the company going. They don't see the sleepless nights making sure that you still have a company, nobody to call on. But Pelosi says, Well, they're not making they're not paying 35% into taxes now of their profits. Where the Republicans are now, they've reduced those taxes to 20%, like it's her money to start with. She really believes that, and so do the liberals that we've elected to govern our nation. They actually believe you work for them first. And if you'll be nice and be a good liberal, a good communist, a good socialist, and you won't talk about God and Jesus is against the law, you can't pray, because if you do, you are breaking the law. You can't have the 10 Commandments in a school. You cannot have a Bible where the kids can choose Jesus Christ. They can choose to kill their own babies and suck their brains out, but they can't choose to know Jesus Christ. Do all of that. And Christians just sit back and watch. That's not the way it works. Hillary Clinton was on the Senate floor saying companies that make a lot of money owe it to us so they can squander it. In my book that you're going to be getting really soon shows some of the ways they're squandering this money so they can steal it from seniors. They robbed Social Security $2.8 trillion and have not paid it back and don't plan to. They act like it's something the government gave or is giving us. The government never gave us a dime. Social Security is taken out of your paycheck from day one, and your employer matches it. It is not Pelosi and Hillary Clinton's money, nor is it the Democrats or the rhinos. But they have reduced it and reduced it and reduced it. And no subsidies for seniors, just illegals. In the refugees that they bring here, I know for a fact, we went to Miami. We interviewed some of the people that are designated to help the refugees get settled. They get thousands and thousands of dollars, and they are refugees because they cannot live in their own country and live to tell it. Those countries, the politicians that I'm talking about, give $5 billion to some of them, $3 billion to others. I've actually put the chart in our weekly prayer bulletin to show you the millions that we give to countries. We give them to countries that their own people can't live in. These are uncivilized terrorists. You know who they're saying the terrorists are in this country? It's come out today. The governor of Connecticut, a congressman, and some of the other Democrats, the NRA, they're terrorists. They're nuts. I want you to know these people believe this. They are indoctrinated to the core because we turn over our classrooms to them. We don't have Bibles in the classrooms, but they sure have Qurans. We don't have the 10 Commandments on the walls in our colleges and universities, but they got foot baths. We allowed it. I want to read you something really fast. The squandering of the money in this country must end. But the believers must know why you can no longer ignore how this nation is being governed and who is governing it. I want to share this with you. This said that Hillary was on the floor talking about CEOs actually making money. No joke. Hillary Rodham Clinton, as a New York State Senator, now comes under the fantasy that a congressional retirement and staffing plan, which means that even if she never gets reelected, she still receives her congressional salary until she dies. If Bill outlives her, he then inherits her salary. He is already getting his presidential salary until he dies. If Hillary outlives Bill, she also gets his salary until she dies. If common knowledge that in order for her to establish New York residence, they purchased $1 million plus house in upscale Chappaqua, New York. These are the people that are giving you $500 a month and are calling your Social Security an entitlement. And the fact sheet to the left of me says that Barack Obama took $500 billion of the Medicare funds to start his Obamacare. You've got to know the truth. I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Faye. Just come to you for a second because we are finishing up our book that Social Security is not an entitlement. Seniors, I'm hearing from you nationwide. I need for everyone that watches this program that does not receive $1,000 a month in Social Security, but you have to live on it, to please write me a note, mail it to the address on your screen, let me know how much you get, and if you have to work another job. Also, we have lawless people that are making our laws. We must confront them. They're conning citizens, senior citizens, like they never have before. Go to our 800 number and make a donation now and say, Faye, I stand with you and I want your book. Do it now. Well, our time has gone again, so I just want to take a minute to encourage you to contact me. You can call our 800 number and say, Faye, I just want to make a donation, whatever God would allow you to do, and do it now. We need $100,000 right now to push forward doing what we're doing to bring the lawless lawmakers to justice. We also need to get Bibles on our college campuses and get Bible teachers, and we're working on that at this moment. If you would like to get our book, Social Security is not an entitlement. It's going to give you information that's going to astound you. You're going to want to get 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10. They're going to be very minimum amount of money. They're not here for us to build an income on. They're here for you to get and give it to other people that you believe care about what's happening to the seniors of this country. But the con artists we now have in our nation's Congress. The Face Facts Prayer Bulletin, it is literally in demand. We want you to ask for that, for a donation as well. You can say, add us to your mailing list, and we will do that. Just write me a note, Faye, and mail it to the address on your screen, and tell me if you make $1,000 or less in your Social Security pension. If you have to work a separate job and you want to join us, we want to hear from you. And I appreciate it so much. If you know people who give large sums of money to ministries, we need it, and we need it now to be able to push the message through. Did you know that these congressmen spent $17 million covering their own lawsuits and paying off victims? So I read where they sued to settle by the EPA, which I'll be bringing up pretty soon, that we paid liberal lawyers tax dollars of almost $100 million. Linda Sarsour calls America to jihad. She leads the Nasty Women's Movement. You need to get in touch. You can say, Faye, I've never heard things that you say. That's fine with me. You go to church wherever God leads you. You be any party God leads you. I am not dividing you. I'm asking you to unite with me, that we can stand and educate, inform believers to understand that this is the year that we will either continue to turn our nation over to the liberal liars, to people that are in office that cover up all of their criminal acts and charge them to the taxpayers. We cannot do it anymore. There is one prayer. I hope I've got time to pray this little prayer before we go. It says, a cry for the revival of the Lord. Do it again. Our heart longs to see the Lord move now as he did then. I know God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. I desire to see him do it again. We are desperate for you, Lord. Nothing or no one else can satisfy this longing that we have for you. This was a prayer for God to bring back the revival of souls that we are working on. Every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, I am leading the prayer for souls. Please contact our ministry. Faye on Facebook, Faye USA. You can get our post, YouTube, Insight USA. But do something today. I'll see you next week. Hi, everybody. I'm Faye Hardin, and I want to wish you a wonderful 2018. God has revealed to me that there's a war on seniors, that the people we elected to office now have a bill that they are going to reduce Social Security to seniors. What are they doing? They are funding the illegal DACAs that they are bringing into this country based on what they're taking from seniors. They raided Social Security. My information gives you that information. I need for you to go to my website right now, insightUSA.us, make a donation, or call the 800 number that's on your screen and say, Faye, I'm a senior and I make less than $1,000 a month and I get no assistance from the government. Call today. Make a donation. Help me.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's fax, call or email Faye 407-265-0700 or faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA, P.O. Box 917689, Longwood, Florida 32791.